Hello?
Hey,
What did you say?
bestie. You okay, bestie?
Oh, you're talking. Can you hear me now?
I think so.
I was just saying I know you.
Yeah.
1 second, I'll call you back in 1 second.
Oh, okay. Hello?
Hi.
Oh my God, perfect timing. I was literally just.
Hey, Mom.
Maggie. Hey. Hello. This is what mornings are like every single day. It's been 4.5 years of this, but for the first few years, Magnus and I did manage to see each other every couple of months. But this entire last year, nothing. A whole year. What the fuck? Have you ever done long distance? If you have, you know that end date is the most important thing. And so we had planned that 2020 was going to be the year that we would finally come together and everything would just fall into place. Instead, like everyone in the world, things changed. No matter what your plan was, we've all had to adapt. And over this last year, there's been tears and heartache, but a lot of acceptance. And 9 days out of 10, it's fine. But there's always that one fucking day where you are just a little tired of looking on the bright side. And on those days, if you are lucky enough to have a sweet friend to turn to, then you got to check in. I'm recording my little Brooke Boney. Wolfie, can you believe it?
I can't believe it because I just got a photo notification the other day, and it was that picture of us after we just went through a beautiful walk through the Grove, and we went to Erewhon, which is a supermarket in LA where they have heaps of bougie and wanker things, like stuff that we love. And like a year on, we're sitting here in Sydney, and it feels like a world away.
When we were together in LA last year, you were like, Lindy, it's your new home. You came to meet me at Magnus and I's home in West Hollywood. I can't believe it's been a year now since I've been there.
People always say to me when they're like, oh, Linda's boyfriend's not here, or like, when are they going to see each other or whatever? How is she coping? And honestly, like, I just say to them, she has like the patience of a saint, because we're polar opposites like that. You know, I'm like the most impatient person in the world. I want instant gratification, but you have this like just incredible like innate ability to just let things sort of flow and take their course. And I know that this year has like tested your patience in ways that, you know, even has been testing for you, the patron saint of patience. It's like been incredible to watch how resilient you are and how you sort of process the things that happen. You know, I've seen that even this year has like tested you and how difficult it's been, because ultimately, like, when you go through the best of times or the worst of times or even the most mundane of times, you want the person there that you love the most in the world with you to hit those milestones or to help you sort of get through something really tough. And, you know, sometimes a phone call doesn't cut it, you know, and it's hard. It's really hard.
Please meet one of my best friends, Brooke. We're the kind of friends that know each other's daily highs and lows and every detail in between, and we're always there for each other.
I think like to see how both of you have sort of changed and adapted and like grown through it has been like something that's truly wonderful, because you're not tethered together because you've got kids or because you're married or because, you know, there's like something that's forcing you to sort of keep going on. Like, you're tethered together because you love each other and ultimately you want to be together. And there's something that's like, it makes me feel like I'm going to cry. There's something that's truly beautiful about persevering through all of this stuff. And I always think of that as like the benchmark for, you know, relationships or commitment, is that you're apart, there's no physical contact, but you love each other so much that you sort of hope and pray that this time will end and you'll end up back in the same place physically. Either that or your vagina's just going to like close over and you'll be reborn as a virgin.
Which would also not be a bad thing. Let's not lie. Well, let's just look down at my closed up vagina for the next little while we go for a little stroll.
Have a little stretch. Focus on the things that, make us happy in the day-to-day.
Have lots of snacks.
So many snacks. I love those dried berries that you got.
All right, so we'll leave little Brookie in the park and we'll get on with it. If you're in a long distance relationship, this episode is dedicated to you. How have you been coping? Especially in this last total shitter of a year where we just can't really make travel plans. We'll find out how long distance actually affects you and how it could work for you. And if you sent me a voicemail on Instagram in this last week, then fucking watch out, because we'll get into the advice that you've been sharing.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you downstairs?
Hi, Karumba. Yes, I am. I'm in the lobby. Now you're meeting another person I talk to basically every day. This is my manager, Mark. Oh my God.
That's what we do here.
Dogs allowed in the
That's what we do
office?
here at BMG.
This is the greatest.
Everybody.
Hey, hello. I'm good. I'm already recording.
Wonderful.
Are you ready? Mark is a star.
I'm always ready.
Hey, congratulations. I saw the email. As usual, we're having a work meeting with him today. We love our business chat. But the other side to Mark is that he is a total romantic, and he's always told me about how he and his American wife Miranda did long distance for well over a year before she could move to Australia.
So this is our new office. So this is the Venetian Meeting Group office. So there's 4.
He talks about their long distance relationship as having this magic to it. And now, a decade on, he sometimes misses those special moments where you're constantly putting in effort because you're not next to the person.
I look back at the long distance component of our relationship and go, that was the most amazing time in some ways that we've had. And so I suppose the helpful piece to people like yourself who might be in that moment is there's potentially a reframing there from, I love this person, but this sucks, this is really hard, this is really difficult. How are we ever going to get to a better version of our relationship than this long distance version, to actually reframing it and thinking in a funny way, this in many ways will be the most amazing version of our relationship for so many ways, and just to really think about those things, think about the beautiful little phone conversations you have that you might not sort of focus on now. You might not think much of them, but when you sit back on them and think from a future perspective, what are those things going to look like to me? The little extra bits of effort, the little extra bits of imagination. So it's kind of trying to turn what feels like probably overtly pretty shitty at the time. Try and when you're in it, perhaps don't wish that part away. Yes, you want to be with that person and you want to be reunited with that person. And of course, that's perfectly the right thing to think. But at the same time, just try and treasure each day and perhaps the different relationship that you're having now than you might have in the future, because I suspect you'll look back upon it fondly when you get through the other side.
Yeah.
I suspect you will.
I think so. Magnus and I say this thing where we, when we're in long distance, it's like every day is a fucking birthday. What's special? What are you eating? What can I give you? Oh, we're going to see each other? We're going to go to the best restaurant. We're going to go to the best park. We're going to have the nicest walk. Look at that dog. Yep. And that one day will give way to clean up after yourself.
In the most beautiful way. Yes, it's just you try and make the best of the situation that is in front of you, and that can feel, really hard at the time. And it's not a better version of your relationship, it's just a really different version of your relationship, and something to kind of really sit in and try and there'll be, you're absolutely right. I remember huge ups, and I certainly remember huge downs too, really, really, really tough times and tough days and plenty of tears. And it is absolutely worth it for the right person. And I know you have found the right person, and so it's absolutely worth it, but also absolutely worth trying to work on the reframing of it as not necessarily something to just survive, but something to kind of really enjoy and savour, and perhaps just think about the beautiful things that happen. Would this be necessarily happening if we were, together and we had that proximity and things like that? Some of those things maybe not, and it actually brings out an incredible version of ourselves being in that circumstance. I think that's something to kind of treasure as well.
That's beautiful.
I have to edit the shit out of that, but you'll be fine.
Are you kidding?
I'm just going to go.
Just putting it out. For a man in a suit most days, Mark's a real little romance muffin, isn't he? He's shown us the value in these hardships. What a fucking asshole, honestly. Okay, now we're going to chat to a friend who's an expert in the world of relationships.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear you.
Yay!
Yay.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have you plugged in. So basically, can you hear me when I talk to you like this?
Yeah.
This is Chantelle Otten. She's an award-winning relationship therapist and psycho-sexologist, which means she focuses on the biggest sex organ, the brain. So with her experience, what does Chantelle think about going the distance?
I have so much good thoughts about long distance. I do believe that long distance builds a really beautiful foundation around communication, around having fun, around being able to describe things that you literally would never be able to describe if your partner was there or if you saw each other, every day or every second day. I think that you develop a huge sense of creativity with what you're doing in your general life, because you have to be able to tell a story to be interesting. I think that learning how to communicate and be vulnerable with your long distance partner is something that you have to be forced to do in a long distance relationship, but also being able to maintain your sense of self and individuality and your own personal life. I think that people who can survive long distance can really go far in many aspects of their relationship.
That's what I like to tell myself, Chantelle.
Good. Because it's true.
And if you're a romantic or a cynic or a mix between the two like me, you probably would have heard of the 5 love languages. Created by an American author, Dr. Gary Chapman, it is incredibly popular. It's a theory and a test that shows you the 5 ways that we experience romantic love. So, what are they? And then, how are they affected when we're long distance?
There's physical touch, which is literally where you're touching each other. There's words of affirmation, which means you're doing a really great job. I'm so proud of you. There is quality time. So you're hanging out with each other purposefully. There's acts of service. I'll do that for you, babe. Let me take care of this. And there's receiving gifts. The only one that could be a real challenge is physical touch, because you are long distance. I think that you can do all those other things whilst in a long distance relationship. I don't think that there's also an excuse to throw up your hands at love languages while you are long distance. You can talk about giving hugs. You can talk about, what you're going to do next time you see each other and how you're going to touch each other. It can be PG rated or it can be R rated, whatever you want. But I think you can savor those moments of when you were able to touch as well, or get excited about the next time you're going to touch. I think acts of service is something that you can do. You could ask your partner, what can I do for you? It might mean, can you wake me up in the morning instead of putting on an alarm? Do the research so that you can take over that act of service if that's their love language for them. But, you know, we have tablets, we have computers, we have FaceTime. You can have a digital dinner date. It's not just about hanging out together. It's about purposefully being together and being present as well. And I guess in regards to gift giving, I mean, thank God for online shopping. You can send anything these days.
Yeah.
Imagine if you're like a pizza rocked up at your house, you'd be so happy. Like nothing says I love you more than like a pizza.
Yes. When I did my egg freezing procedure, one of my favorite things that happened was that Magnus sent me a pizza that turned up on the day that I was like getting my result.
Oh my God. An angel.
All right, Shanti. We've talked about juicing the good stuff out of this, the ways we can make it work, but what about the days that are just hard?
Look, long distance relationships can be a real emotional roller coaster because you have the really high highs and you have very low lows. And especially, you know, I have so much empathy for anyone who's going through this. Not only can relationships bring up a lot of feelings in general, but long distance relationships can cause a huge amount of feelings, and especially ones where you feel like you might just need that hug, like you just need that person to be around.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that anything I'm going to say is going to make those days better, but I think if you don't bottle up those feelings and you make sure that you have your besties there, you have the people that are around you that are going to be able to take you out on a date and love you and be able to be on the couch with you and let you sit in those feelings and just be down, like that's a very normal thing. You don't ever have to hide that. But I think on those soppy days when your partner's a long way away, just be honest. Like, I'm like such a sop today. Like, I'm feeling really flat. Like, there's nothing to really do. I'm going to be kind. Maybe I'll try and see a friend. If I'm not vibing that, then I will just be a sad chick.
Yeah. I've had to learn how to feel sad a little bit because otherwise I'm too good at just kind of bottling it up.
We'll get taught too much that we have to be happy all the time, and that's just depressing in itself. It's just toxic to be happy all the time.
Yeah.
But you know what? It has to be actually communicated. I really believe in getting on the phone and being like, I'm so happy that you're on the phone with me. I don't have much to give because I'm pretty foul right now. I think if you throw out a word that describes the way that you're feeling, it allows the other person to get on the same level with you and also not come back with, hey, like, what's going on with you? Like, why are you talking in that way? Or you just don't seem like yourself. The reality is it's because you're not feeling like yourself and you're feeling really shit. So let's just embrace that and not deny it and accept it. Let's
just accept a hashtag foul right now.
Yes. Because it makes you laugh, like how foul you are sometimes.
Yes, I know. That often ends up being the thing where I'm getting now all these pop-ups on my phone where it's like, 1 year ago you did this, 1 year ago you did that. And knowing that I woke up the other day and I was like, oh man, this just ain't good. This is taking a really long fucking time, Magnus. But as soon as I kind of said it and I moped around for a little bit, I got a coffee, I put my sunglasses on so the person in the cafe couldn't see that I had a little like tear rolling down my face, it was bloody awful. It was hashtag foul right now. But
so sad.
Hashtag so sad. Nothing you can do. Get out of my space. But it was quite remarkable. The sooner that I face it, the sooner that it dissipates.
Disappeared, yeah. And that's like why you have girlfriends as well, like group texts, like WhatsApp messages with all your friends where you're like, guys, I'm so fucking grumpy right now, like fuck my life. Like, I love those messages coming through and everyone's just like, me too, and everyone just like bands together and you're like, okay, I'm disappearing again for a while. I'm going into the bat cave, bye.
It's confirming to hear this today. It's confirming those gut feelings that I know that I have and you might have about your long distance relationship and how it can really be a positive foundation. Still not ideal, but you can make it work. And if you've been sending me messages with all the ways you've been dealing with long distance, just as Chantelle was going through the love languages and shit with us, I can hear that we're nailing it. For example, Rami, separated from your boy, you figured out how to reset your expectations.
It's all about knowing the next time that you're going to see them. It's always having a trip or two planned so you can be like, oh, it's okay because I'm so excited to see you in 3 weeks' time, or I'm so excited to see you in a month's time, or whenever. And so last year that was really difficult because we spent 9 months apart. We had to sort of accept the situation and be like, well, we don't know when we're going to see each other next. So instead of it being, I'm so excited to see you and touch you in person in a month's time, I'm just so excited to talk to you.
And I loved this idea from you, Nicole.
We sent this leather-bound book back and forth where we'd write each other letters and notes and did silly things like drew around our hands and stuff like that, so it looked as though we were touching even though we weren't. And that was really nice to actually get some sort of physical piece of someone as opposed to just, emails or just Skyping. Or, I mean, as cheesy as it sounds, I think that was something that really did help.
Hey Linda, my name's Tommy. My boyfriend moved to Melbourne for work recently. We found little rituals help to stay connected. We both love to read, and so most nights we'll have a chat on FaceTime, then set our phones on the bedside table and read in silence together. I love our little nightly reading sessions. It really helps to stay connected to him.
Farah, you are milking the quality time from afar.
Something that I've started doing is the Saturday morning quiz, a good weekend quiz. I used to do that kind of by myself over a coffee, and now I've introduced that as our Saturday morning quiz. And even though the time difference is pretty crazy, he's in England at the moment. His night is my morning is his night, and we're just polar opposites in the way that we are living our day-to-day life, but there's something beautiful about that. I think it's an interesting time for all kind of relationships, not just love.
Hello Linda, from South Korea. I'm Rosie and I'm in long distance with my boyfriend Jared, who's in Australia. I think the most important thing for my long distance is to express honestly how I feel and what I think. And to talk it out to my boyfriend has been really, really helpful. And actually, the first week of March is our anniversary as well, like yours. And it's our first one, so I'm very, very excited for that. And this podcast could be the most surprising event for my boyfriend. So thank you for this opportunity, Linda, and I wish you the best luck. And lastly, I love you, Jared.
Oh, this is so sweet. And I've got one final note for you, which I love very much because it focuses on the most important relationship in your life, the one with yourself.
Hi, it's Greta. I'm in Australia and my partner's in Germany. I honestly think the only thing you can do is to view the time apart as an opportunity to work on yourself and do more of what you love so that when you meet again, you're an even more you version of the person that they love. And this is coming from a person who hasn't seen her partner since December 2019 and hasn't lived in the same country as him since November 2018.
This is so gorgeous. This is seriously going to go down as the most wholesome thing we have ever done. Like, we are seeing the beauty in the beast of this. So I have to say thank you for helping with that. And if you're having a foul right now kind of day, I hope that this last few minutes has at least made you feel a little bit less alone. We're going to keep being tough and tender. And here's something fun for you. We're even taking a bit of that control back because next time on Tough Love, where are my eggs now?
So they're down the end of the corridor. They're just happily down the end of the corridor, sitting in a special tank down there. The scientists have got a system where they can locate your eggs if you ever want them. They can be transported interstate, or if you decided to take them to Los Angeles, we can do that as well.
That's right. It's egg freezing time. And if you want to send me a message or ask any questions, hit me up on Instagram at Linda Marigliano or send an email, hellotoughlove@gmail.com. Tough Love is a podcast by me,
Linda Marigliano.
Produced by me and Amelia Chappelow, with support from Mike Williams. Join me every 2 weeks on your podcast player. Make sure you hit subscribe, and if you like the show, please leave us a 5-star rating and a review. Okay, thank you. Love you. Bye.